Hello, we are now doing something new. We were having some connection problems with Facebook. So we are excited to let you know we're now doing session one or episode one of Truth Talk on a Google Hangout. It's our first time ever doing a Hangout with Truth Talk. And let me come back down here and we'll be on Zoom. So I don't know if we're going to do it. So I'm going to go ahead and hit record here and we'll be able to tell. Okay. Just God bless us. Okay. All right. Good evening. You are here with Mariah and Melanie, and we are so excited to be with you this evening as we relaunch Truth Talk. And I've done this in the past. It's been my online community where I get to talk to everybody and I get to just share, kind of taking the mask off where I've seen God show up in my life or with my friends and my business. And so as we relaunch this Truth Talk, it's where we're going to talk about releasing you and creating the freedom God has for you, being transparent and authentic, discussing real life issues, whether it be faith, family, or business and health, and taking the mask off, going behind the scenes and really talking about the things that you want to talk about, answering the questions that you have, and just really trying to pause and listen to where we hear God, but also where we see Him and answering some of those hard questions. So I'm Melanie Dinger. I am your host, and I am so excited to be here with you tonight. And then I have Mariah. She's another one of the Release You coaches, and she'll be our concierge this evening. Go ahead and introduce yourself, Mariah, and say hello. Okay. Well, I have lots and lots of holiday traditions, but my favorite one, I would say, is waking up on Christmas morning. We get up and get ready, and ever since when I was little, my mom would do it when we were little at my mom's house. But now we get up and we get ready and we go to my mom's house, and I meet with my brother and my sister and my nieces and nephews and all my family and we go to my mom and stepdad's home, and before we open any presents, my mom reads us the Christmas story. And I can remember when I was a little kid how that story felt so long, right? And now it's so fun to listen to her tell that story and read that story, and then to ask the questions to the kids and how the kids, like, how they really get it and how it's animated. So I have some pictures of that, and it's just one of those things that I really treasure that makes Christmas so so memorable. And I think, one of the things is that when we always think about the presents that we get, right? But I think for me, it's more about being present in the time where I'm at and being present and enjoying my family and seeing the kids' excitement and really enjoying that. So I would say that's probably one of my Christmas favorite holiday traditions. How about you, Mariah? Awesome. It's just so precious, right? Those times, that memories, how they grow so quickly. And this is a time when we want to have a conversation with you. So we would love for you guys to share with us in the comments below what your favorite holiday tradition is, so that next week when we come in, we can talk about that and maybe even bring you on to be a part of this, because maybe you do something we've never heard about. And what I love is that this is just a place for us to build a community, for us to really talk about those things. And I know, Mariah, too, as we talk about Christmas, there are a lot of people who are lonely. So I kind of just want to put a call out to you to have your eyes and ears open, and being open to maybe who God is maybe inviting you to come to your home. Or and I just say this because this is a time when there's a lot of people who are alone, but people either have children who are getting married, and now those children have different traditions, and maybe they're not hanging out with their family and they've moved away, or they're in college. Or, the other thing is that makes me think about this is that sometimes we have family who pass away, right? And so that next Christmas, because we've had somebody pass away, it's just really hard because it's different. It's not the same, and people don't know what to do. So I always believe the more the merrier, and that we really, there's always room for one more at the table. And so I really put that challenge out to you to think about, and just to pray, like, God, who is it maybe that our family could love on this year in a different way? Um, yeah, thanks. Okay, so I am excited. One of the things I want to share with you guys today as we relaunch is that I am part of a book that just was launched today, and you can get it on Amazon. And it's 40 women over 40 who are sharing wisdom. We were interviewed by, asked some questions by this amazing lady that I met. Her name is Holly Porter. So shout out to you, Holly, all the way out there in Utah, where the leaves are beautiful now. When I met her, it was at a networking event, and she said she had this book coming out of a compilation of women who were over 40. I don't think I was like, hey, I'm over 40. I could be in that book. I think I was, a lot of times we don't want to claim our age, but I was pretty excited. And, I think as we do go through life, we have different wisdom, and we have things. So we talk of things about what's commitment look like to you in your life, and how important has that been? What are the things that have made the difference? In business, what are things that you've been really passionate about and that you've been really committed to over time? What are some things that have helped you be really successful in sticking to that commitment, and to making those come through? And so there's some great questions. There are 40 women who love the Lord that are in that book, and they are just sharing all their tips. So I want to encourage you, go to Amazon today. You can get that for 99 cents, and get that book. We are at #1. We are working on getting to be an international bestseller still now. So I invite you to go do that, and to just really be able to take some time and have to be able to be filled by that. So we'll be talking about as the time goes on, but I wanted to share today that was pretty exciting. And so one of the things that I would tell you is that as you're out networking, we're going to talk about networking a bit today in our business, or with doing things with our family, different traditions, maybe something that's a new thing to you. I'm going to encourage you to say yes. To say yes to yourself, because sometimes we think, oh, I can never do that, or just really, you've wanted to do something, but you've never taken the time to do it. And when somebody offers you, or you think like, oh, that would be great, just say yes, because you know what? A lot of times we are able to do things a lot, a lot more easier than I thought. This is the second book I've been in. I have another book called Take the Time, You're a Good Mom. And I'll tell you, when I wrote that book, that was really the beginning of everything, because as I look at that book really talks about how, and when we take our time with, and we put everything in alignment in our faith, our family, and our business. And maybe you just are doing one thing a day, but even if you're doing one thing a day, you're going to move forward in your business. You're going to move forward in the things that you need to get done at home. Sometimes we like to get a lot more done, and we'll talk about that as time goes on. But that's my one big tip, that I will say, is that no matter what you're doing and how big your tasks are, is that if you're just doing one thing today, you're moving one step further than you were yesterday. And sometimes that's, it's that baby step, or it's that thing that we need to do. And all those little steps really add up to a big thing. So as we get going, we're going to be talking in the coming coming month about igniting your God-sized goal. Um, and listening to that inner voice in you of where God's calling you. And sometimes that seems really big. And so I want to have you practice saying yes to yourself. Practice saying yes to self-care. Practice saying yes to more time with your family. Um, Practice looking at what is a priority to you, right? And how can we make the best of that time? So today, I wanted to, congratulate all the other 39 women that are in the book with me on the 40 for 40 of women. It's the second volume, and I want to thank each of them for opening their heart and pouring that out and sharing that wisdom. Because sometimes I know for me, um, you just like, how do they do it? Or you like, we might struggle and compare. I mean, I remember there was a time when I always like to talk about my friend Jody because she is one of the most beautiful people that I know. And Jody Smitke, if you're listening to this, I love you and I miss you, but you are one of those women who is so beautiful on the inside and on the outside. And you help me be a better person. You help me be a better mom. And I just love our friendship and the time that we've shared together. So one of the things is Jody and Sean, they have had so many kids in their home be foster kids. And Jody is that lady that, gosh, you would just look at her and she just has a special love for kids. And that really is her gift that God has put in her. And I remember when I was a young mom, I would look and I think, how does she do all that? Or how does she do that? And I remember my Aunt Joyce and my Uncle Bobby, they had a lot of kids too. And I remember when I would go visit them in the summertime, they had a lot of foster kids, but just with our home and stuff, it really wasn't something that I was capable to do. And really, as a young mom, 2 kids was about all I could handle. And I mean, I could handle other kids for, I'd love to have my nieces and nephews over, or I'd love to have my kids as friends over, but, for one day. And then I was like, okay, that's good. 2 kids is good. And so, but I would look at Jody and she just had patience. She had so much love for these kids that were coming into her home, and just she just really filled that space of a mom when they didn't have it. And I thought there was a time when I really compared myself, and I thought I wasn't. I knew I wasn't that kind of mom, and I couldn't do that. And so I almost started feeling like I wasn't good enough or not a good mom. And so really, what I learned at that time is that when you compare somebody, you steal your joy. You steal that joy that God puts in you. And that I started learning then that God makes each of us different. The gift, Mariah, that you have is different than what I have. The gift that Jody has is different than what I have. And what I learned is that God gave me my voice. And I'm a good mom and I love to go have fun with my kids and do that. But really, God put a passion in me to encourage and build people up and to use the gifts that God gave them. And I think through learning how to not compare myself, but to be confident and okay with who I was, that God made me, that I realized that then I could help other people find those gifts in themselves and um, to be in that place. So I just want to give a shout out to Jody. I want to give a shout out to all of you moms out there, all of the foster parents who love on those kids that need a foster parent during this time. This is Christmas. That's a time when there will be a lot of kids that aren't with their mom and dad. And so I just want to encourage us to pray for them. Many churches actually do foster parents night out. That's a great place for you to volunteer if you are not maybe you can't foster parent in your home and you don't have that space or that capacity, but you sure can volunteer on an evening and give those foster parents a break. And so I encourage you to check and see if your local church has that and how you can volunteer. There's a little bit of training you need to go into that, but what that is that night allows you to go in and love on these kids that come in that are in foster care. And those parents, they get a night to go out and have a date or to go handle, to get some rest, to just have some self-care for what they need. And so anyhow, that's a little bit about the books that I'm in. Truth Talk is take the time. You're a good mom. And I just would say, take the time where God calls you to listen to see where you can be present and where you can make an impact in someone's life, because we each have different gifts. And Mariah, I just want to honor you and thank you right now, because Mariah has this gift of technology and she is so talented. Did you see that little reel that came on? She like put that together. I'm like, wow, that's beautiful. So she is here when you see comments. She's going to handle that. She's going to answer any of your questions, or if there's a question that you have as we talk about that, or if something speaks to you, put that in there, and she's going to help us see that. If you have a prayer request, please put your prayer request in there. If there's somebody that you know that needs prayer or a situation, we just want to pray over that and to let you know that you're not alone, and that we're just out here reaching. And we're so excited to see where Truth Talk comes. Now, in the coming months, we have some guest speakers that are come on and will be here with us. I've got my friend Pamela is going to be coming in a few weeks, and she'll be sharing about her book and some really great tips on that. But we'll be also interviewing people. So we are going to be talking about faith, family, business, and your health. And so what we want to know is, what questions do you have? What do you really want the answers to, or where have you struggled at that you're like, I really kind of wish you knew. I really wish I knew, or that I think more people need to know. Um, or like we were talking about family traditions. Please share with us today, what is your favorite family tradition? Because through December, and Christmas is my favorite time. Put in the comments below what your favorite, what state you're in or country, because I think it's fun. In different countries, we do different things. My husband's from Germany, and what they do in Germany is different than what we do here in Portland, Oregon. And so what state you're in, and also what your favorite holiday tradition is down below, please. So thank you. Okay, so we're going to talk business tonight, because I think during the holidays we can get so busy doing other things, right? And there's all these different family traditions that come up. There is, it's just that finding that balance of time. Like, how do I do it? How do I stay focused on my goals? Because we've got 1 month left to reach our goals that we've set. And many of us set, resolutions, or we'll set a goal for the month. And so, how do we stay focused on that? Or when we're networking, what can we do to be the most effective with our time, since our time is limited during the holidays? So today I wanted to share with you 10 tips that are power tips when you're networking. And I'm actually the founder of an organization called Christian Network, and I put on events every month. And we are getting ready to launch another chapter in Vancouver, Washington. We're here in Portland, Oregon, and looking at some different states. So if you would like to know more about that, please send me an email at ask@melaniebinger.com. But so here's some tips and some things that when you're out networking that can make that time more effective for you. The one is to show up to add value. When you go to an event, a lot of times we go there and we're thinking, okay, here's what I need to do, or there's that person. But show up early. Show up and see if there's anything you can do to help out. If you have, just show up and say, what is it that I can do that's going to benefit other people? I'm going to encourage you to go, not thinking of yourself and what you can gain for your business, but how you can go there to serve and add value to other people. 2, we kind of talked about being present. Being present is a huge thing. I know when I used to go, and I used to like kind of look around, see what's going on. There's always so many people, and I'd see the flashy things, or someone with cute shoes on, or I used to, I'd see something, or somebody that I knew. Maybe one of my friends came in over there. My mind might, I might be talking to you like this, but my eye would be going over here. I want to encourage you to be present with the person that you're talking to look them in the eye, to really listen to what they are. And, sometimes we know that, and I'll give you some tips ahead of time to find that person that you want to be present with. But when you're there and you're with somebody, to really be present and to listen to what they have to say, to ask some great questions, to see how you might serve them. And so, I really love to add referrals. I'm kind of known as a connector. So if I'm talking to Mariah and she's, let's see, maybe she's got tips she's looking for people who want to redo their wardrobe or come up with great outfits for the holidays, right? I might be listening for somebody who's going shopping, or somebody who is going to go to a party, and I might say, "Oh, my friend Mariah, she's been doing these great classes on how to be prepared to get use what's in your closet and snazz it up for the holidays." And then connect them, and then go home and say, "Hey, Mariah, I met Sally, and she's got she's really looking on some different tips, or she's lost 50 pounds, and she's looking for some great ways on how she can jazz up her wardrobe." Whatever that is, I'm just always looking for a place that I can serve, um, and build that relationship. Listens to so 3, listen to other people's needs. There you go. When you're talking to somebody, listen to that and see what they're looking for, and think about who you know. Because the truth is that when we serve other people and we refer other people, people want to help us more than, because they're like, "Oh, wow, you know what? I can't believe so and so did this," or "It was so nice," because it's a blessing to us. And at Christmas time, we've got so much going on, or during the new year, that it is just a blessing that someone's like that. I mean, I love a referral all the time. How about you, Mariah? You love a referral? Yeah. Okay. Be prepared. Now, this is a biggie. Being prepared and knowing where you're going. Um, know what you want to attract. I'm just most recently thinking about, I went to a trip to Orlando to be with one of my coaches, speak and write. And I knew when I went there how I wanted to. I'm a coach, a business coach, and I knew that I was looking for some clients, and I have created a new package that I'll be kicking off in the new year, called Accountability Masters. And then I was looking for some one-on-one clients, and so I knew ahead of time, prepared what I was looking for. I had my packages ready, I had my business cards, I had my handouts. I and there was a difference, because sometimes when I go to an event, and if I'm not prepared, or I haven't spent that time, um you don't come back with the same amount of leads, the quality of leads that you want, right? So being able to present yourself with what you're really doing, and going to a networking event, you pick what you're doing. I might be looking for clients at one event, coaching clients when I go one day, and the next day I might be looking for speaking engagements. You need to kind of know who's in the room, um, and who you can serve and how you can serve them. And be early, show up early. I put on a lot of events, you guys, and when you're early, it's a great way to stand out. If something needs to be done and you see it, just see if you can help. Can I help you carry that in? Or when you're early, you get to greet the people that are coming in, right? You get the opportunity to kind of survey the room and survey what's going on, and see what's there. It also allows you to not be stressed. When we travel, sometimes we hit the traffic, right? And if you're early, you're just more at peace and ease, I think, and not as frazzled sometimes when you're running in the last minute. 6, I say be radiant. This one's a big one for me. Be radiant with your action. Be radiant with your words. Show up with love, there to serve. I think it's great to maybe use a little. I love good shoes and good jewelry, so that always helps you stand out a little bit too. But really, just be you and be radiant. Let God's love shine through with your heart. 7, be fearless. Let your faith be bigger than your fears. I always say, do it afraid. Go and talk to that person that you're afraid to talk to. Um, it's okay if you stumble. Go, and I'll tell you, I think be fearless. When I went to Orlando, you guys, I always talk about igniting your goals. And I do a lot of coaching and a lot of speaking, and I help people really find the places where they're stuck, and to move past those, to be able to just to make that difference. But there's something in me when I'm helping people with their goals. When someone has a God-sized goal, there's something in me that lights up. So I went to this event this time, and I did it fearless. And I said, you know what? I'm okay with niching myself. I'm okay with really just standing in my true calling, and being the thing and doing what God calls me to do. And if I go there and I find one person or I go through and I say this spill, I'll know that, nope, this isn't what I'm supposed to be doing. First of all, like nobody liked it. One, I might find one of my ideal clients that I really want to help, or I'll practice it and maybe I'll get a lot. So I showed up and I said that I help people ignite their God-sized goals. Do you know when I say that, when I really talk about the God that I serve and helping people ignite that goal that they have in them, that thing that they believe that they cannot do, I come alive. That's when I really, really like to help people. Those are the people that I'm like, yes, I can do it. I don't know if you can see it in me, but I'm getting excited. It is so much more fun for me to say that that thing that God puts in you, that God-sized goal that you think is impossible, that I can walk alongside with you and we can walk by faith and we can pray it out and I can help you be obedient to God and we can watch for the way, because God's ways and man's ways aren't the same in business. And God can do more than we can ever imagine. And when He calls you to something, He is going to equip you. And things will show up in a different way than you can even imagine. And it's going to look a lot bigger. And you know what? We all hear that, but it's so fun when you get a walk. For me, when I get a coach and walk alongside somebody who is igniting their God-sized goals, it grows my faith, it grows their faith, and we get to really praise God, and a lot of lives are touched. So I showed up, and that's what I said. I said I help people ignite their God-sized goals. You guys, I came home and I have so many leads. I was like, wow, I know I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. Like it just gave me the confidence that I need. Now, I really stumbled with a couple of my pitches, and I went to one network group and I said it, and they kind of looked at me like, what? Who do you want? You want a woman? Who do you want to help? And I'm like, no, I want to help men and women. And they're like, huh? And then again, I go, I'm going to tell you what, if someone has a God-sized goal inside of them, they know it because God put it to them. And that's what I do. I help people ignite their God-sized goal. And when I went through that night, I left, I had 30 leads. And so I was okay with that one time not getting a referral or a recommendation or someone saying I'm your person. And the thing with that is that we're gonna get no's. We're gonna get things that are uncomfortable. And I could have walked away that night with nothing. But even when we go and we show up and we're fearless and we do it afraid, God makes the way and things get easier because sometimes it's not as hard as we thought. Okay, my next test for you is to be trustworthy. Follow through on what you say you're going to do. So I think follow through days are really important. And I normally do my follow up on Tuesdays and on Thursdays. So I know a number of phone calls that I can make. And what I do is I might say, I'm going to just use you, Mariah, as an example. So I meet Mariah for the first time and I say, it's so great to meet you, Mariah. I think, and I'll say I follow up on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and what would work better for you? Would this Thursday work good, or would next Tuesday work better for you? And Mariah might say Thursday. And so I'm going to say, okay, great. Because when I go home, what I'm going to do is I'm going to follow up and I'll say, it was so great to meet you. And I will follow up with you I'll follow with you on Thursday. Because let's just say it's Monday. I'll do the 24-hour comment like it was great to meet you, but then I'm going to follow up on Thursday and really go and dive in and make that phone call and ask Mariah what she does and schedule a time that we can do that if we haven't done it, or send an email to more depth of like, let's get that scheduled to whatever our conversation is. Now, here's another tip on follow-up that I do to be trustworthy. Yeah. Oh, thank you. No, please do. If there's something, like I said, this is a conversation. So if you have follow-up tips that work really, really great for you, put those down below because maybe we will do a segment just on follow-up. There is one that I will share that's a tip on following up to be trustworthy that really helps me. I do meet a lot of people as I travel around and speak. And the thing that I do when I meet a new person is I will say, Mariah, it was so good to meet you. Can I please take a selfie with you? And so I take a selfie with Mariah and I smile, and it does two things. The first thing is when I put it in my phone, it helps me remember who Mariah is and where I met her at. So when she calls back and I think, oh my gosh, I've got 5 Mariahs on my phone. Which Mariah is that? And I'm thinking, it'll help me because I'll see her face. And I'm like, oh, that's the Mariah that I met at the Christian Network. Right. So then it makes it easier. And then I can pick up the phone and not be like, trying to figure it out. So it helps me in that way. The second way is that when I get home, I will send the message and I'll text it to her and say, hey, Mariah, it was great to meet you today. I look forward to following up with you on Thursday. So right there, I'm reminding her of the commitment that I've made and that I'm following up in the 24 hours. She's going to remember who I am because we've got that selfie together. And then I'm going to go ahead and follow up on that Thursday. So it really just helps me to do that and to be a person of my word. So thank you, Mariah. I appreciate that because I've really had to work on the things that help me to follow up and to have that system because I hate it when things slide through the cracks. Okay. 9, be grateful. Be grateful for where you're at and who the people are at the networking event who put it on, maybe the person who's hosting the table. Be grateful for, like, a lot of times when we go to a networking event, they're serving us a meal. Take the time to thank the person who's serving you, right? Thank you so much for being here today and serving me. This is wonderful. I'm getting, this is great because they're serving a whole bunch of people and that's a hard job. And I think sometimes wouldn't those people like to be in our chair? Maybe they have that God-sized dream, that thing in them where they're wanting to be there. And so I always try to say to be grateful, and if I'm listening to a great speaker, I'll be like, if you can listen to the nuggets of what they're saying, grab this because this is good stuff. And I might give my card if you have any questions. I'd love to answer any questions about the event if you heard something. I'd love to share with you. You are such an awesome server. Thank you for being here for us. Because who doesn't like to be thanked? Thank the person who's putting the event on. You guys, takes a lot of work to put an event on. You don't just show up. Thank you to the volunteers that are there. They are there serving a lot of times, doing a lot, getting up early to go to the event, and being there and staying up late, especially when it's a longer day event. So that will make you stand out. 10, schedule for success. And I kind of talked about this on the follow-up, but make sure that you have the time to follow up. If we are not scheduling our time in our calendar so that we have the time to follow with the people we meet, it's great that you're meeting all those people, but you're never going to convert them to making it into business or to having the opportunity to speak or whatever it is that you are wanting to do, right? Whatever that connection was. But I'm going to tell you, there's a lot in just being truthful, because sometimes we don't schedule that time. Sometimes we go to an event and we're so busy, and then we're a mom and we go to the event and we get home and now we're a mom and we're like, okay, now I'm in mom mode and I got to cook dinner and I got to go get the kids and we're running, right? Well, I want to say that it's okay too to say, you know what? Hey, Mariah, it was so great to meet you last week at the event. I'm sorry life kind of got in the way, but I really enjoyed meeting you and I'd love to get to know more about your business and how I can serve you. Right? So when you're just honest and say like, I realized I should have followed up and I'm sorry that I didn't follow up sooner, but I'd love to get to know you. I think there's a part of just being truthful, right? Like, so that's why I know my schedule is really crazy. And I'll tell people like, hey, I know it's Tuesday and things are really crazy and my week is already booked, but it's great to meet you and I will be following up with you next Thursday. Right? So they know and they're already thinking, well, it's building that grace right into my schedule. So yeah, and some people have a side hustle, right? Because some people are working a full-time job and trying to do a business part-time to get that dream going on. And so we'll talk about some other things in the future for that. There's lots of nuggets of business. But so today, those are my things that I hope maybe, here's the thing. If you could take one of those tips and just implement one of those tips this month as you're networking, whether that be a business meeting, whether that be a holiday party, and just implement those and practice being present, you will see a difference. Because whether your business grows in December or not, what you're going to do is you're going to build stronger relationships. People are going to notice you, and you're going to stand out. Yes. Right. Like, here's the thing though. Pick one. You can pick one and go for it. And then once that one becomes a habit, it's easy to do the second one. But it is, there are you could pick 2 or 3, and it would be very easy to help at an event. I mean, or like, just think if you show up at someone's home that's throwing a holiday party, showing up early, making sure you can help them set up, adding value, being present with the people that are there. That is huge, right? That's, a simple thing. And of course, showing up, wearing your holiday best. That'll bring to some great conversations. I don't know. I got to tell you, talking about holiday best, this one's going to kill me, and I'm going to have to post a picture of this, because my cousins, they have an ugly sweater party every year. That's the big thing right now. Everybody's doing these holiday ugly sweater parties, and boy, they are ugly. There are some ugly ones, and it really just hasn't worked for me to go the last few years. I've got an ugly one this year, and I'm thinking, boy, this is holiday best, but the ugly. I'm like, can I really wear this? It's going to be the conversation talker for sure, because it's crazy. So that's all I'm going to say. Be a sport, and whatever the theme is. Yeah, pull the power verse up. That sounds awesome. So we can. So we're doing some new stuff, you guys. And so this is the thing. Know that wherever you're at, you can learn new things. This, thank you, Mariah, for doing this. This is Ephesians 6:10. And I think it's a great verse, because it's like, finally be strong in the Lord and in his mighty power. And I love it, because, we can look at this and we can think, I'm struggling. Things are tough. Things are hard. How do I be grateful this season? Right? Well, there's some truth. And when we take God's word and we speak it over our life, or maybe you've got a friend who's struggling, you can take God's word and you can speak that over that person's life. So I'm going to go ahead and give that example of that. Mariah, be strong in the Lord and in his mighty power, right? Or I can read it, I am strong in in the Lord and in his mighty power. So if I'm having a day that's really, really tough, or I'm thinking, how am I going to do this? And then I'm facing that fear where I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going in here, or I'm going to do this big thing. And I'm thinking, yeah, that sounds all great in my mind, but how am I really going to do it? Or I might just be having, I just might be having one of those days, because truthfully, sometimes the winter comes and, we don't have as much sun, and there are people who struggle with, that seasonal stuff. And I always say, take your vitamin D, because that always helps me. That's a good little plug for you on the health side, is take the vitamin D. My husband's always so good about that. He'll just come and say, have you had yours today? Or he'll just give me a couple, because it's something that I have to be aware of. Anyhow, be strong in the Lord and in his mighty power, right? Whatever the situation is, we can say, I am strong in the Lord. Because as we start facing that, and you start saying, I am strong in the Lord, it really, what it does is it dismisses the area where we're weak and where we're struggling at, right? And you can walk into that room and you can be confident if it's a networking situation and be like, I'm strong in the Lord. This is his. He's got it. Right. And sometimes I don't know. I just have to talk to myself that way. So we're talking about taking the mask off. You know, we all do things that scare us. And those power verses, those word of God really do that. So would love to hear how maybe you use that power verse this week. If you take it and you claim that and you use that, please share that in the comments below. Or maybe how those verses spoken to you in the past. We really are wanting to build this community and to grow and to just be able to talk about the truth. Okay. Well, Mariah, I think we did have one question that you were gonna that did come in from somebody that we knew. So what was that question that we had? Can you remind me?
Yes, we did have a question, and the question basically was, what if I go to a network meeting and I don't get any clients from it? Am I doing something wrong?
Okay. So I think it's that mindset, right? So I think sometimes we go, and I know, and I used to be a part of a business where that was the only thing that I did, and I was always having to enroll clients, and I thought I had that mentality of I have to get somebody there, I have to get this to be able to reach this goal. And the problem with that is it was all about me. Get. I need to get somebody. I need to get this, and it almost feels like I have to. And the truth is, we all do need to make money, and sometimes we feel like I do need to get somebody, or God, how is this going to happen? But if you can flip that, and if you can show up to serve, that will really change that, because people will get to see the true you and who you are. And I think the other thing is that when you talk about networking, I can what I really suggest, whether when you're looking at different organizations to join, because there's so many different ones, don't show up there thinking you're going to get a client the first time. Now you might be blessed and might just make that perfect relationship and might say sign somebody up. But I kind of go into an organization with the mentality that I'm going to be there for a year before I expect anything in return. And you might think that sounds crazy. But when you go there, when you have that mentality, it takes the pressure off, because now I'm not expecting anything. I'm going there to show up to learn something. I'm going there to build relationships. I'm going there to serve. I'm going there to be the CEO for the day and just be there for my business and to represent that way, and to stand in that space with amazing other like-minded people who can build me up, who can encourage me, because sometimes it's tough. So if you allow yourself to go there and to get to know people, you are going to have a relationship where you can be that encouragement for somebody else. But also sometimes you might need it. And that's when the truth is, or they might say, oh, that's your goal. And they'll just give you that referral. Right. Or, I don't know. So my theory is don't go there expecting anything. Don't go to a networking event thinking you're going to get something, but go there seeing how you can serve, and go and commit to going for a while, so that you can really let them get to see you, and then to build that relationship. And then I think from that you will be abundantly blessed. And that's what I have really experienced in my life.
That's great. I agree with you 100%. You definitely have to go and earn trust of people too. There's that piece. Like, people aren't just going to automatically refer you just because you show up at a networking group.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I think it's that mentality too, because there's a lot of people, there's a lot of coaches out there, there's a lot of speakers out there, there's a lot of different people in different home-based businesses or MLMs, and they all have great services. But how do we know what person that we want to do? A lot of times it's personality, but I think it's a matter of like getting to know that person. And for me, I may know 2 or 3 people who does the same thing. But I'm getting to know, like, I might want to just get to know you, Mariah, and what your personality is, and and then from those 3 people, that's who I'm going to refer.
Good. Awesome. Well, I think we're ready to start wrapping up here.
We are. So, we hope that this blessed you. We want you to know that to come and join us with Truth Talk every Thursday at 6 o'clock. We will be on YouTube. We will be on Facebook Live. It's really amazing because, sometimes we know that there's a place where we want to go, and my goal this year is to build my YouTube channel, and it's one of the things that I've wanted to do. And I always do Facebook Live, and so I'm just going to share. Thank you for this grace, and when you look at this, if things were in a different place, because whatever reason today, God did not want us to go Facebook Live, so we're going to try to get this replay to go over there. If you're there, we tried several times, and it only worked on YouTube. So here's the thing. Be perseverant, and wherever you're at, don't quit. Like, if one thing doesn't work, just try the next. And remark your calendars and put that little setting on your phone so that you'll know to join Mariah and I every Thursday at 6 o'clock. Let us know the questions, the things you want to talk about down below. And don't forget to tell us your favorite family tradition.
Right. Great show tonight, Melanie. You did such an excellent job. And let's see if I can finish up with our outro. All right. And then we'll be done. So bye, guys.
Praise you. I'm trying to figure out. I think we're still live on YouTube.
Maybe we've got to leave the meeting fully.
Okay, let's try it. I don't know if we're still there or not. Oh, jeez. I have no idea radio that's at. I don't know if it just recorded on. Okay, I don't even know if it went on to YouTube. Well, there's a Google Hangout on air that it's there. I can tell you that. I know that. I don't know how, any idea how I did that. When I go, like when I look at YouTube, it says to do the camera. So I can do new and that, but then it wants to like start it. Like, yeah, I'm here. No. My computer's spinning. I do not know what it's doing. I know I recorded this on my computer. So it's well, right now it's like you have a recording that needs to be converted. So now it's converting that. So I can't close my computer. So I can tell you this stuff only happens when something big is about ready to happen. How many times have we done this and I've never had any problems going live? None. And it just kept saying preparing. It would not go live on Facebook. And where?